Hello and welcome to another Detroit Become Human video, and this time Kara has finally reached the sort of underground railroad for androids up near the Canadian border, and the game engine here once more doing its utmost to impress. There's lots of lovely details with lighting, atmospherics and motion capture, and I think this scene's got some really good motion capture where you have a real sense of presence of the actors who actually, took part in this. And if you ever watch the making of Detroit Become Human videos, a lot of these scenes, they literally acted it out in a physical space with all these little ping pong balls attached to themselves to do the digital capture. And that's why it's quite a believable performance. It's, a very filmic game. And I believe this is sort of David Cage's vision finally becoming real, because I mean Fahrenheit was great, I loved it, although the end got a bit tricksy. Heavy Rain was a really good game, but obviously had some comedic elements in it, but Detroit Become Human is definitely the apex of that vision, and it really works well, and you're going to see it when we go inside. There are some tensions. Rose is living alone, well, I say alone, living with her son, and there's a little bit of tension because obviously that the androids represent a threat to the family, because if the authorities catch people sheltering androids, well, they're going to go to prison, and that's going to cause a big row a bit later on. We've also got the sweetness between Kara and Rose, and obviously Luther's involvement now as a sort of father figure, and you're really getting a sense of the family unit coming together. But what's also interesting is when you watch this playthrough, you need to be aware that there are some pretty major spoilers, obviously, particularly for some twists that are going to come up in some future episodes. And the nearer we get to the end, obviously the more some of these issues are going to be hard to ignore. So obviously if you're watching this playthrough, either you don't care about spoilers or whoops, a bit too late. But yeah, there are some decision points, and the footage I've actually recorded, there is one point where I could potentially stop and say, well, from now on there are actually 4 different endings based on everything I've done up to this point. So it'd be interesting to kind of show you all of those, but because these videos aren't proven to be massively popular, I think I'm gonna stick to just the first ending that I achieved, particularly because I think it had a nice outcome for one of the storylines, and I'd like to preserve that because it's really nice. But hopefully you've been noticing some of the details in the video, like the little wooden ducks, the wonderful lighting effects from the lampshades, the fun little kind of cartoony animals on the girl's top there, the beautiful texture work on the clothes, and just lovely, and a very sweet scene again with Kara trying to be the perfect mother to Alice. And yeah, Alice is aware of problems with this escape they're trying to do, and she's concerned that obviously the human authorities are gonna crack down on Kara, and you're getting a really lovely mother-daughter sort of relationship going on here, and I think it's a really interesting storyline. I wish they'd done some other bits with this storyline actually, which we'll talk about when we get a bit further into it, but there you go. Anyway, Rose is gonna try and get Alice back up and running, and we're going to end up downstairs, and there's going to be a little bit of a complication coming up, so I'm going to be quiet for a bit so you can enjoy what's going on screen.
Sleep tight, Alice. I'll be downstairs if you need anything.
Get some sleep, and tomorrow you'll be stronger than me. stay with her a while.
Well, we've left the room and we're off downstairs now, and we're going to interrupt a little bit of tension between Rose and her son.
I didn't get your name.
I'm Kara.
This is my son, Adam. I'm Rose, but you know that already. Come and have a seat, Kara. So are you gonna tell me what a deviant's doing in the snow with a little girl?
It's a long story. All that matters now is that we move on from here and start a new life. You and your son live here alone.
My husband passed away 2 years ago. Adam and I, we've just been trying to scrape by. We grow vegetables to sell at the market. We'll never be rich, but there's always food on the table.
We're not the first ones to come here.
These past few weeks, we've seen more and more. I don't know what's going on, but something's happening.
Helping androids is dangerous. Why take the risk?
When the first one arrived last year, he was so lost and confused. We hid him here for a while, but all he wanted to do was cross the border. They shot him on the spot. So when the next android showed up, I just knew I had to help him.
We've heard you help androids cross the border. Can you help us?
The only way is over the river, and it's mostly frozen in winter. It's very risky. And after that android speech on TV, everybody's on edge. It's probably safer for you to stay here until things settle down.
We can't keep hiding like this. Alice needs to feel safe and have a normal life. We have to get across that border. No matter what. Please. You've got to help us.
Rose, come quickly.
Well, that was a great bit of acting, I thought, there, captured. And as I say, there is going to be a little bit of a scene between Adam and Rose. I think it actually comes after this rather than immediately coming down the stairs.
What's going on?
But yeah, we get to see some interesting sort of in-game lore problems here. An android's shutting down. Basically, the battery unit has expired. And I can't remember if it's blue blood or something. If they don't have enough of the blue blood, there are problems. And you can see here that androids have human emotions, human feelings, human attachment. They also have human fragility. So, you know, a bit like the Blade Runner androids, you know, they have finite lifespans. And this is a bit traumatic for these machines that have been programmed to be as human as humans. And this does cause a little bit of concern for Kara, because obviously
Alice?
she has Alice to look after. And,
I wasn't sleepy.
you know, this is a real slap in the face, really. It's a reminder of the fragility of an android's existence.
It's okay.
She didn't want to stay in her room any longer. You all right, Kara?
Yes. I'm fine.
Now that facial capture there, where they caught the subtle emotions in the face, I thought really, shows how good it is. Oh, and here's the argument.
Dangerous. Do you know what happened if the police find them here? We'll go to prison, Mom. Do you understand me? Prison!
Adam! We've already talked about this.
No! I won't back down this time. You're gonna ruin our lives, and for what? For a bunch of machines?
They are not machines! They are alive!
I'm alive! You're alive! They're nothing! And none of this would be happening if Dad was still here.
I will not stand for that kind of talk.
I'm not going to prison because you want to help these freaks!
That is enough, Adam! That's enough! Don't mind him. Sometimes he just boils over. It's been hard since his dad passed away. But he's a fine boy. I'll go see about getting you across the border tonight, okay? You stay here. I won't be long.
Now, there's problems brewing. World War III enter. Looky there's a Kara robot. And yeah, some of these, as I say, little info dumps you get via these booklets is really good, and it really gives you a sense of immersion in the world. Kara's almost looking around for various bits and pieces, which will come in useful in a bit, because there is going to be a bit of a complication, I'm afraid. After all, this is a video game and a drama, so we've got to have issues to keep the story moving forward. And I guess this is the husband, so yeah, sadly missed father. And we're now having to keep an eye out for various bits and pieces, and obviously Rose has set herself up to look after these escaping androids, so she's one of the decent humans in the world who recognizes problems for the androids.
Back soon.
Carol, there's something I need to tell you. It's about Alice.
Not now, Luther.
The police. It's the police.
Oops, and here's our complication. So we have got to
We have to open the door.
hide the evidence of various deviants.
I knew this was gonna happen.
So we shut the door on the dying androids. If I remember correctly, there's a uniform and some blood we need to deal with. And the door will automatically open in about 2 seconds by the looks of it. So I guess we best open the door.
Good evening, ma'am. Sorry to disturb you. We've had reports of androids in the area. With all this deviant business going on, you can't be too careful. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Now what's interesting about this policeman, he is very reminiscent of the policeman from the Fahrenheit game, who discovers the dead body right at the start, so nice little throwback there. I'm not sure it is the same person, but very familiar look to me anyway.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
I'd love one. Have you noticed anything unusual recently? Any unexpected visitors?
No? No, nothing in particular.
Is anyone else in the house?
There's my daughter. She's asleep upstairs.
Well, have we done enough to satisfy the police officer, or is Kara's story about to end right here?
Wait here?
No, there are no androids here.
Thanks.
Now, obviously, this could be quite painful if you'd missed a clue and he's wandering around and suddenly spots it. You know, I'm also curious to know, I've never actually answered, yeah, there are androids in the house. It'd be interesting to see what happens if you do that. I guess he asked to see them or something, but there you go. So Adam is obviously thinking over what he's going to do. Oh,
What's your name, son?
apparently he wants to talk to Adam.
Adam. My name is Adam.
Is everything all right, Adam?
The androids, they...
He needs a rest. He's been working in the garden all day.
Do you know anything about deviants? Have you seen any?
No. No. I haven't seen anything.
Well, the police officer's slightly suspicious, but
Have a nice evening.
he's seen enough to satisfy him, and it looks like he's off. Uh-oh.
Is somebody else in the house?
It's nothing. The washing machine. It's an old model. It makes a terrible racket.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Good evening, ma'am.
That was a close escape.
He's gone.
It's okay, Alice. We'll be safe now.
It's Rose.
Get yourselves ready.
Well, looks like we're heading to Canada. Let's buckle up. See you in the next video.